Good evening, everybody. I realize that it has been a while since some of you may have seen me. Um, there's also a few people who I think may have followed while I was off. This may not actually be something that that is stuck, just because I don't know how much Twitch updates the activity feed. But for those of you who may have followed since Friday and have been wondering where I am, I take the Canadian holidays off. Now, there's enough alignment with the United States, and obviously I actually, it's surprising how geographically dispersed the audience is. I feel a little bad about that just because I did have a 3 hour shift in terms of my starting times. Now, admittedly, that's a few years ago now, but still, where I can, I like to be accessible to people. But anyways, but yes, for those of you who did not know, Monday was Victoria Day. I actually think I failed to announce that on Twitter, although I realize that that is not necessarily an area in which most of the people who watch see that. But just as for those of you who watch for the long term, if there's a Canadian holiday, I always sort of take it as the view of I reserve the option to stream, basically. So if I'm feeling up to it, if I don't really have anything else to do for the day, I will do the stream. But one of the reasons why I try and take the holidays off is that for a very long time, it was feeling like holidays weren't holidays, and that led to burnout both in terms of work and stream. And I already have a little bit of difficulty with work. So like the fact of the matter is I don't take vacations. The times that I do take vacations are specifically so that I can do streams. And the place where I'm working right now is actually quite a bit more strict about it. So I will have to take a vacation no matter what. And I'm sort of adjusting to that. But there is an internal problem, which is that if you don't take care of yourself that way, like nobody's going to do it for you, basically. And it can create some situations in which, your work suffers, and that's both on the streaming side as well as on the professional life side. And I like my job enough that I want to do well, and that is part of my temperament anyway. Like I don't like sort of phoning it in. I realize some of you may feel that this is what happens with streams, but I assure you I do actually try my hardest on that, which might just peg me as this very tragic figure. But in any case, one way I found that can kind of preserve the my overall state in terms of streaming is to take the holidays off, just so that I can actually do some recharging. I actually got to read a really good short story over the long weekend too. This is one that apparently is rather well known, but it was actually the first that I'd ever read it. It was H.G. Wells' The Country of the Blind. And I think a particular reading of it has always been intended, but I do think that, especially given sort of I'm not the only person to sort of talk about this, but certainly my hobby horse in terms of people's information silos, the way that they act, and not just in terms of social media. It just happens to be that social media is more equipped for that. And, just the value of independent thought and how receptive we are to people saying things that we don't necessarily agree with. I did actually find a lot, there's the surface level reading and then there's the deeper reading. And I really enjoyed that short story. So if you haven't checked it out, H.G. Wells, The Country of the Blind, thumbs up here. Although I did get a little bit less done than I wanted, I've actually been trying to read up a little bit more on business sims. I think I've talked about this before, where I sort of think there is an argument, and it may not be a particularly strong one, but I think there is an argument to be made that business sims are actually one of the oldest types of computer game, because you can also see how this is the sort of thing that you would use in the context of education. And I'm pretty sure we've talked about this on Twitch a couple of times before, but if you think about it, like, it's tricky because very often the business layer can become a meta game, and I I think that might be cheating a little bit, because there are a number of features about business that make it very well aligned to our traditional conceptions of a game. So in this sense, you've got currency, you've got a number that keeps going up, ideally. You have natural conflict, competition, and so that will, that lends itself to sort of a gamey sort of environment. And of course, it's very systems driven, so it's natural to sort of map some of the ways that we think about businesses in the real world to games. I also think it's not coincidental that the people who are making games are generally doing so as part of a commercial enterprise. It's not the only reason people make games, but I think it is fair to say that most of the games that we play have some business intent behind it, even if it is just sort of wishful thinking. And so, this is sort of, people are going to be writing about the things that they know. There's actually a couple of cases where I, in the past, there have been some cases where, I'll sign, this is kind of true depending on what I do, because obviously streaming has this too, but you'll sign something like a non-disclosure agreement, and inevitably that is when you have ideas, related to that non-disclosure agreement. You're like, oh, I wish I didn't sign that, because that's, but I think there's a reason for that. It's not the forbidden fruit so much as it's the fact that the reason you have signed that agreement is because you're going to be doing something related to that. And so it's part of your, it's kind of part of your day-to-day experience now. I can never remember the real name for this, but there's a phenomena which was called the Bader-Meinhof phenomena. That's a type of apophenia, I think. Let me just see here. Badoff, nope, not that one. The frequency illusion. No, sorry, cognitive bias. I know, I don't know why I called that apophenia, because that's a completely different thing. Cognitive, okay, yes, sorry. Cognitive bias, not apophenia. Apophenia is a different thing. But essentially it's the idea that, I've got the Wikipedia article up to find its name. So the frequency illusion, also known as the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon, is a cognitive bias in which a person notices a specific concept, word, or product more frequently after becoming aware of it. The name Bader-Meinhof phenomena was coined in 1994 by Terry Mullen in a letter to St. Paul Pioneer Press. The letter describes how, after mentioning the name of the German terrorist group Bader-Meinhof once, he kept noticing it. This led to other readers sharing their own experiences of the phenomenon, leading it to gain recognition. It was not until 2005 when Stanford linguistics professor Arnold Zwicky wrote about this effect on his blog that the name frequency illusion was coined. So, anyways, but yeah, I think it's sort of, I think it's a little bit of that going on where, if you start working at a Starbucks, chances are you're going to be paying a lot more attention to coffee and specifics about coffee. So, in any case, there was a point I was going to get to in terms of the business side of things. I actually don't remember why I brought that up. So we're going to enjoy some Godless, and if I can remember what the goal or what the point was, I can bring it up again. Now, I believe we won when we did everything on easy, so I'm going to push ahead to normal. Now, what I think I'm going to do is, once I've beaten something, I'm going to say the next level is the minimum. So if I can pass, let's say I pass Act 1 on normal, maybe I'll try and make Act 1 hard. Well, that might be a little too difficult, but in any case, I don't think I should go back to easy. I think from now on I should be trying to do normal or higher. So I've already got Blazing Soul. Deep Freeze did work for me in the past, so I think I'm going to go for that. It is tempting to try some of these others. But I am actually trying to save up these points for a future purchase. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with this game, this is a really interesting indie game. I think it's fair to call this an indie, by a developer named Daniil Kalupa, and it is published by Brace Yourself Publishing. In fact, I believe it is the first title that Brace Yourself Publishing had announced. I went to kind of check out what this game was about when they announced it, and it sort of seems like it had I think there was a Kickstarter for it originally, and I think it was a little bit of a shame that maybe the Kickstarter wasn't picked up. So it's kind of nice that Brace Yourself did that, because it's one of these things where I actually think about this quite a bit. There are a lot of things now where you simply have to be able to market, right? This is true for writing. I would even argue as an actor in some cases, if you want a particular role, they are going to consider you. You're more likely to be hired if you are bringing fans with you. And of course, this is the same for music, right? They're generally, a musician is expected to, a musician is kind of expected to bring an audience, even though, our expectation is that sort of publishers, also writers, the expectation largely is that these, institutions exist to make people aware. There is a very heavy degree of marketing that seems to be required for just about everything. I'm not good at it. It is one of many reasons why I tend to feel that some of the things that I do that are good, obviously there are some things that I do that maybe aren't so good, get less attention than they do. But everybody's running into this, right? Some people do have a gift for outreach and others don't. And the difficulty about it is that, there is a reason why the world is built this way. And it does reflect a number of choices that we've collectively made in terms of how, we find out and reward certain experiences. But as with most cases, a fair quote unquote system is either an impossibility or it is one where, there are mutually appealing but contradictory definitions of what fair is. And all of this is a long way of saying that you would normally, in some cases you could see that somebody tries something like a Kickstarter or somebody, tries some kind of crowdfunding, and that is taken as sort of a negative signal in terms of the appeal of a project. And I like the fact that there is, a publisher like Brace Yourself Publishing that's going to see the potential in a game like this, and give it its support, because ultimately I think, for my own part, this is the first game that really made the auto battler make sense to me. It's not a genre that I've normally looked at. And I think the other thing that this game has really benefited from in terms of its connection with Brace Yourself is that there's the Discord. Obviously, there's quite a few people in the Brace Yourself Discord. If you have not gone in there, I recommend you do, because I think it's a good place, and the developers are very active, and that is absolutely true when it comes to Godless. I do actually feel slightly bad that I've not played this game more, save for the fact that I have, lots of other Brace Yourself games to play as well, and so Wednesdays wind up having a bit of competition. But in any case, I will definitely say that every encounter that I've had about Godless has been a very positive one. The developers behind this game are very passionate about it and have some good ideas behind where to take the game, and I think they're learning a lot from watching how people are playing the game. And it is one that I really hope more people discover and play. And obviously with an impending 1.0 release, I'm hoping that's the chance for people who maybe have been waiting for early access to finish to finally tuck in and give this game a try. It's also quite inexpensive. I don't think that's the reason to buy it, but if you are looking for good value, I definitely think that this is worth quite a bit more. I believe it's $11 Canadian, and of course, because the Canadian dollar isn't what it used to be, that means that all you Americans can get it at a really good rate. $12.99 Canadian. So I was off by $1. All right, I've tried to hold this off as long as I can, but I do actually need to choose some skills. Now, I've always gone for the swordsman. The thing is, I find the swordsman very useful. So let's see if I can come up with an argument as to why one of these options is better than the swordsman. So the ghoul swaps attack with the target. If this unit's attack becomes 0, it will turn into an enraged ghoul. The enraged ghoul is a 15-15. Okay, I mean, that is a really interesting... Let's try it. The Grim Obelisk when any enemy's attack is changed, deal 2 damage to them. So that almost certainly aligns with the ghoul. We've got the Sand Golem, destroys a tile on this hex to gain +2/+4. This thing definitely feels like it can get out of control really quick. But it's hard for me not to take on the Grim Obelisk here. So finally, we've got the Corrupted Tree. Steals 1 attack when attacked. So that's mighty tempting given the Obelisk. The Nomad, +2/+1 if they're on a plane hex. And the Orc Warlord adds this unit's attack on adjacent allies. I think I'm actually going to put down a Corrupted Tree. So we're obviously going pretty hard on the idea of altering a unit's attack. But I definitely see some potential here, so. I'm debating on... All right, so I feel a little insecure about this because of the fact that there's a druid down here. But I am going to put this down. So I'm going to put down a Grim Obelisk. And I think I am going to start with a ghoul. Now, I want to be a little careful in terms of how I handle this. I don't want to put the ghoul in a position where, you know, one of these units, they'll move after one of these units. I really didn't want to put them in the forest. So if I put it down here, it's very likely they'll move north, which means this unit attacks them. If I put them here, same idea. So if I put them here, this is tempting, but then it's possible they go to the left, at which point this unit moves up and attacks them. So this feels a little far away. I'll try it. Oh, and I have another 2 left over. Okay, well, with that in mind... So that's working exactly the way it's supposed to, which makes me think that we should put down another one of these obelisks. In fact, we should put down a lot of these things. So obviously this is a concern. cured. Good evening, System Shock. Can't stick around, but I do hope you have a good stream. Thank you very much for stopping by. I do hope that you have as good of a time at work as you can. All right, now this is a tough one for me. I am going to, I'm going to save for the ghoul, and this is simply because I do actually need to think about how I'm defending the shrine. Oh, that's not good. An enemy has been defeated, but their a life still glimmers in their body. Now you are to decide their fate. We can exile them and boost the enemies. I think we're going to go for hatred and reassemble the body. Interesting. Okay, so definitely need to go ghoul. It's disgusting the number of units this thing has been able to generate. So the big question here is, do I go for another obelisk? I think I'm going to save for another ghoul, although I do really want to get more obelisks down. So obviously we're taking quite a bit of damage out of this, but we are we're gaining a bit more than we're losing. In total, I mean, like essentially the idea here is that we're hoping that the healing, on net, that we wind up with 60 by the end. More than 60 by the end. Let's do Precious Time, although I'm not working. That is not working in my favor. Deal 5 damage to any unit or pay tribute. It's tempting to do this. I think I'm going to do the damage. Now, this is an interesting problem. Do I try and put down more enemies for attack? Or do I... I think we have enough ghouls. Right now, we just need to take these things out quickly. Now, interesting, so it does actually need to be a change. So that did not work so well for us. So in future, I'm going to need to think of more fresh ghouls for the scenario. Let's destroy this tile. So we have quite a deficit to make up here. Let's skip that. So the good news here is that I don't have to worry about I don't need to worry about the druid, so hopefully this will be one where I'm able to sort of recover a bunch of my health. Let's summon a 2/2 copy of an ally on an adjacent hex. Let's make sure it's the ghoul. And to further inconvenience the enemies, let's just see where everybody's moving. There we go. Should have thought that through. So, this seems like a pretty good strategy for us. I expect we'll still, like, yeah, we're netting -6, but I think we learned quite a bit about the approach that we're going to take. So this is the thing that I think is probably, to me, the real draw for Godless. Like, I really do like this idea of sort of building out the approach. So, you know, there's lots of sort of deck building style games that do this, but I'm sort of still new enough in the game that I'm discovering a little bit about what these various about what these various abilities can do, and sort of discovering new combinations. It's actually been one of the things that's been quite fun about following this game in early access, is that as new things get added to the game, you're sort of discovering new ways to think about the sorts of challenges that the game throws at you. So this will be an interesting one because there aren't any sort of direct synergies to... Well, actually, you know what? What I'm thinking of here... No, sorry. Okay, my bad. I was just thinking it's like Grim Obelisk, so when an enemy's attack has changed, it deals 2 damage to them. It was like... I remember seeing a couple of those obelisks with 2 damage on their own, and I was like, well, what if I find a way of improving the attack of, of my my obelisks, and the catch on that is it won't matter. Like, it might have a high attack, but it's sort of a stationary unit. Now that might work with a corrupted tree, so you just sort of stick one of those things down and like let them get stronger and stronger, and you can sort of steal them away to enhance your other units, but I think in this case I'd stick with the ghouls. So there's the Protector of Nature. Attack is always equal to health. That doesn't quite work for... Well, if I find a way of leveling up or improving the health, then this can actually be quite devastating. You know what? Let's go for the Protector of Nature and see if we can build something around that. Because I do have something that will actually improve health. Deep Freeze. Okay, Earthquake. The continent is shattered in half, and Judgment. Enemies' attacks deal +4 damage to units with higher health. Interesting. So I think the Crossroads is tempting. I don't think I'm quite ready to go into the Chamber. So let's do the Crossroads. Okay, so we have a Hidden Workshop. Acquire the perk of another shrine type, Forbidden Magic. On battle start, summon a Crimson Tentacle next to the shrine with +4/+4. The Altar of Elements adds +2/+2 to all allies every 9 turns. And Alchemy Lab sell Divine Inspiration for 90 Ether. I don't think I want to do that. So I can get 4/4 every 9 turns, or I can get an extra tentacle. So it's hard for me to see how the tentacle sort of works in the overall plan that I have. So let's go... and do I want to pick another bonus? I think I'll skip that for now. Alright, so here we have a Rune of Power. Adds 3 attack to the shrine whenever an enemy enters an adjacent hex. Unwavering Faith. Upon summoning the shrine, it gains a +2 health for each adjacent tile. And Divine Protection, the shrine gains 1 defense. Now that would actually work rather well when I bring the ghouls in. So this one I am going to pick another perk. And we've got the Antarda Kingdom. Despite its harsh ruler and reputation for ruthless court intrigue, Antarda is known far and wide as a place of prosperity. This is going to be quite a challenging one, so we've got 2 Archdruids and then a bunch of enslaved ogres. Although I suppose my defenses actually protect me from the druids, so it would be a good idea for me to... it would actually be a good idea for me to put the shrine down in the forest. Okay, now this is a bit of a tricky one because there's a pretty strong argument for adding the Protector of Nature here. I think I'm going to do it. We'll have the... Why do I get a free... Like, it doesn't seem to cost anything the first time I put it down. That's really good. I just don't know why it does that. So in that spirit, I think I'm going to put down obelisks. Interesting, so that still did damage even though I've got the defense. So I'm summoning this ghoul so that I can eat the attack of the ogre. Although I guess I'm giving it 2 health this time by moving it onto the... Now that's interesting. The fact that it's... Okay, good. I was like, the fact that the health went down. Now here's an interesting question. Do I let it switch back to 4, knowing that this unit's going to die, and I get a total... Yeah, well, that's a total of 8 damage. That's not really a question there. Although I have probably set myself up for a tough encounter at the start of the next turn. So we're trusting that the ghoul is going to do its switch in time. And I'm going to put the ghoul on the Ancient Rune, and this is because even though it'll have 2 attack that it's going to switch with the Ogre, the fact that I've got 3 shrines up is going to kill this before. Oh, no, with 9, I think I actually created a problem for myself. We're 1 short of what I need, so it's going to move in on my shrine and do... It's actually going to kill this obelisk, it's going to damage this shrine. This is the greater threat. So I think I'm going to wait so that I can summon another ghoul. That's right, it takes out the shrine too. So the fact that I do the damage to it doesn't actually mean that much. Still, we'll commit to the bet. I feel like there should have been more than one hit there. So I get an enraged ghoul out of this next. I think, against my better judgment, I am going to try and put down a few more obelisks. Now I am equipping this thing to do some pretty meaningful damage to me with 6. That's not so good. And again, we're 1 short. I should probably be saving something for an extra ghoul, but I know we're just going to have this misery this next turn, so... So no matter what, we know... in fact, let's do an execution. Interesting. Set the health... yeah. Let's double the speed rewards again. So hopefully I see that health. So an important factor here is that this is not going to swap health with the Enslaved Ogre. This one will swap health. But I'm kind of counting on this thing just not doing that much damage to me. because I've lost 20 health on this already. So if I do kill in a duel... There we go. And I think if I put down the obelisk, we should do enough damage to this unit. It's game over. Although again, we took a lot of damage on the shrine. Alright, so for our trouble, we wound up with... Alright, first of all, Carnivorous Flower. Whenever adjacent enemies receive damage, it applies 1 poison to them. Raise the dead or negative energy. I think I'll go for the Carnivorous Flower, although, again, it doesn't really synergize with my current setup. And we have the Broken Island. How the island came to be shattered in the first place, no one knows, or perhaps they choose not to say. And I'm now a god of hatred. All enemies lose 1 attack and get poisoned every 3 turns. Sorry, a god of rot. So the Winds of Change replaces some tiles with random ones from another act, and Fighting Spirit enemies gain +1/+2 on attack. This'll get interesting. So, I think the Sanctuary and the Crossroads is the best option again. I am slightly inclined towards doubling down on Divine Protection, and I think I'm going to pay up. So I can increase the battle speed rewards, I can get the Forbidden Magic, or I can start the battle with an ally. Let's go for the Forbidden Magic. I don't think I have enough ether to go for any more. So again, I'm not expecting miracles. I don't quite have everything oriented towards the strategy I've been working with, but I think we have... There's some hope with this current setup. Okay. So one of the things I'm going to have to be worried about is the graveyards. So I'm going to take some time here and I'm going to put down the shrine. So that's a nice little health bonus. And I'm going to put down the tentacle. This is partly just to try and deny some of this territory to Talvis. So the first thing I want to do is take a look at where he's going to move. Now this might be interesting. So if he moves here, he's probably going to move to these woods, which means he'll move onto this war graveyard. So there's a couple things that happen here. So number one, on attack launches a projectile dealing 5 damage to the shrine, so we don't want him to attack a whole lot. He also gets +1/+2 when he attacks, and then on death deals 9 damage to adjacent enemies and resurrects with 640. So basically, when you hit this guy, you want to hit him hard. I think I'm going to put a Protector of Nature down here. Now, one important thing is I don't exactly want a lot of units to be running around letting Talvis attack a whole lot. I will put 1 down. Obviously, I'm not getting the Grim Obelisk benefit from it, but I'm kind of taking this from 2 ends. So one, the Protector of Nature is going to heal up in the woods. This unit's at least going to blunt Talvis's main attack. Okay, so now I'm going to start putting the Grim Obelisk down. So we give him his attack back, which is not so good. So my best option here is to actually wait for... Yeah, so I'm going to wait on the one turn. So he'll get a boost from that move. But what I get to do here, I get to put down a ghoul. So we'll block the War Graveyard, we'll take Talvis's damage, and then I get to sacrifice this ghoul next turn. So again, we take a bit of damage off of this, but you'll notice that the aim has been to sort of whittle down Talvis each turn. So the one thing I don't want to have happen right now is I don't want this ghoul to swap attacks with Talvis. So what I'll do is I'll do Blazing Soul, so kill the ally to this unit. So this unit's going to move and attack Talvis. Talvis is going to move forward, and we'll give him a bonus in terms of movement. Actually, I think the Protector of Nature might also get attacked. But we should hit like a truck. Oh, nope, because Talvis is going to get his attack first. So what I should have done... Now this isn't a complete lost cause because this ghoul is then going to move and steal the attack from Talvis again. So I'm going to put down another obelisk to prepare. So again, we're kind of fighting for our lives here. This is not ideal. Now, one problem I do have right now is I don't have a lot of good options with this ghoul. I don't want to give Talvis 11 again, so I'm actually going to use the Blazing Soul on the Tentacle. Although I think Talvis still gets enough health. Oh no! We're able to... So my preference, of course, would have been to be able to put down a ghoul. But we're at least going to be able to do 17 damage. Now, Talvis will come back after that. It'll kill the Crimson Tentacle, so I am going to have to deal with the... the final battle with Talvis, but obviously we're in a much better position than when we started. So the next turn we put down the ghoul. Oop. We'll do Soothe Before Deaths just so hopefully the shrine gets a little more love. I'm not expecting it to do anything for the Protector of Nature just because they're going to get blown away next turn. The big thing right now is just blunting Talvis's impact. So again, he'll do 3 damage to the shrine. That's considerably less than what we would have faced. And I guess at this point I don't really need to worry about summoning anything. So what I will do, I'll take the opportunity to do a deep freeze on the shrine just to give myself a little more health. Cool. So hard to complain with how that round turned out. Talvis is a shockingly difficult enemy when there is the heavy armor trait, so I also got lucky on that. Okay, so we've got the Sacred Grove, adds +1/+1 to a unit on this tile and triggers their each turn effects. We've got a Spark of Death, or we've got a Pyromancer. I really only have one more slot left, so I think I'm going to take the Spark of Death. Act 1 completed. So, consequences. Wise ruler, despite your disdain for mortal kind, you acknowledge the few among them who are clever and useful. You travel forth and gather the wisest mortals from across the burnt continents to form a personal council who will offer you guidance in exchange for their safety and a modest fee. Gain a random scroll at the start of every battle. Unused scrolls disappear after each battle. Now that, I actually tend to like this one because it's a good neutral consequence. So essentially, if you don't use the scroll, that's a shame, but you know, you're not really worse off than you were. Now, it maybe means that you don't buy special scrolls because you know, it's use them or lose them, but I'm not in, like, this is one where it's sort of like, I'm really not sure I want to deal with the consequences. I feel like this Wise Ruler is one of the better, like, okay, I'm scared of consequence kind of options. Eternal Hunt. The Elvish woods are left in ruins after your crusade, except for the sacred trees from which you consume priceless ether and gift to the dimensional merchant, heedless of the insult to the surviving elves. Incensed with the desecration of the trees, the elves will stop at nothing to take their revenge against you. So the dimensional merchant gives you a 40% discount on all goods, and each enemy wave includes an elvish warrior. Now, I think it tells you, yeah, elvish warrior. So 5/7 isn't the end of the world to deal with, particularly if I have something like a ghoul. But on the other hand, a third enemy strikes me as basically something that complicates the scenario, makes it less likely for me to end it quickly. And in the end, I just don't go to the merchant that much. So I'm not really sure that the Elvish Warrior is the sort of thing that I want to express profound concern about. And in fact, there might even be some cases where you want an Elvish Warrior, right? That it's maybe, you know, you have something that you can use to, you know, harvest the Elvish Warrior for their attack or something like that. But in this particular case here, I don't use the merchant enough, and I don't necessarily see the presence of an elvish warrior on the battlefield to be a benefit. Not that it's intended to be, but in some cases I can see that might help. So I'm less inclined to go towards Eternal Hunt just because the reward isn't enough for the way that I play. Finally, to bring justice to your fallen brethren, you left a trail of death in your wake. Each and every one was necessary, and now all debts are paid. The fallen should be honored, and the living should be provided for. Some are grateful for the aid and join your crusade, yet others refuse it, desiring revenge against you. The future ahead is uncertain. So summons an elite guard to the shrine each battle, and you cannot see the details of events between continents. Interesting. So I did find that the lack of details of events between continents was, I mean, it didn't stop me from winning, but it definitely posed a challenge. And especially given that I am probably the earliest I'm going to be in this campaign, I'm not entirely, like, it's kind of interesting how you could see yourself picking this in a like late game, but early game it's actually it hurts quite a bit more to use. So I think in this case I'm going to go for Wise Ruler. If nothing else, it'll just teach me to use the scrolls more often. All right, so we are on to the land of the wilds. Elementals inhabiting this place are often bonded to certain artifacts. Possessing such an artifact allows one to command the elemental. We can double up Sanctuary, we can double up Crossroads, or we can do Crossroads and a Forge. So, I mean, I suppose that I kind of want to double Crossroads, but I really should be using these sparks. So, not sure I want Dimension Rift. Taking a second... Oh no, Cycle of Life tiles next to the shrine trigger each of their effects one time. Or we can get... I think I'm going to settle for Cycle of Life because it's persistent. Start the battle with 2 shrines. This would be good if I had a way of, like, healing the shrine, but I don't, so... Well, that's not entirely true. If I had woods. Pay 60 man. It's really hard to turn down a second copy of... Or third copy, rather. So I don't have much in terms of, follow-up boosts. Okay, on attack steals 1 from the target. That... actually doesn't work for anyone. So on death sets attack of any adjacent unit to this unit's attack. Probably not a bad one to... Oh man, any adjacent unit. So that would potentially mean enemies as well. You know what? Let's try the Dragon Skull on the Ghoul and see what happens. I'll confess, I feel like I could use a break, but I'm going to try and take care of this next continent first, and then maybe we'll consider it. So just give me a minute here. Not going to recreate it. This is definitely a bold approach, but I'm going for it. Okay, so I'm going to put the tentacle down here. So for this, we've got Stasis, adds +3 health to any unit and makes it immovable until the next turn. I'm really not sure if I want to do the Protector of Nature this time. I actually feel like... this unit can only receive up to 9 damage from a single attack, and on enter stuns any of the entering units until the next turn. Oh no, that's the quicksand. Skilled Bomber on death deals 15 damage to all adjacent enemies if the unit is next to the shrine. So I don't really see how I'm going to stop it from being next to the shrine. But here's what I'm thinking. Let's start by chasing down this unit. And I want to get a couple of these obelisks down. So Ghoul's not going to do that much this time around, so I think I need to save for... Oh, you know what? They're probably going to wind up right by the shrine. poorly considered on my part. Oh, I do not want that. Oh wait, no, I get an enraged ghoul off of that. Now the real question is whether or not I'm going to be able to finish this thing off before it takes on the ugly. Okay, that's a lot of fun to watch, actually. So I need to find a way of doing damage to this unit, otherwise my shrine's going to take a hell of a lot of damage. There's no good way of doing this, though, so I'm going to settle for another shrine. That's right, they have armor too. Oh yes. Lucky me. Obviously this doesn't really help, but I need to be careful about who's switching what. Okay. Surround the shrine with rock walls. That is actually quite tempting here. Okay, so this unit creates 2 broken seals on random hexes. This one stuns all adjacent enemies on a move. So this is definitely one where we want to... Hello, Vesper! Good to see you again. I know, so I don't exactly have a fix for, I don't exactly have a fix for Old World, but I think I have something that will allow me to stream it. And so you will get to see your beloved Alexander before too long. This is Godless by, it's Daniel Kalupa who makes this game. But it's published by Brace Yourself Publishing. So, a hallmark of quality. So, I'm not sure if you've ever seen me play this, but it's a, it's kind of like a roguelike deck builder auto-battler. And I really enjoy it. I'm definitely still learning, new things about the game. And it's very... I'll confess, it's surprisingly fun to just learn all of the new combinations and such. So I'll do my best to explain. I do tend to find I get in my own head when I play this game a little bit too much. And so I don't always do as good of a job explaining my reasoning as I feel like I could, but please do not hesitate to ask any questions. And I will do my best to, I'll do my best to try and cover my plans. For those of you who are not familiar with Vesper Fortune is a broadcaster who I found on Twitch. I was going to say through Book of Hours, but it wasn't. We were playing Book of Hours, and I actually caught Vesper playing Cultist Simulator, doing a run as the Bright Young Thing, but I think it was the Bright Young Thing. Anyways, it was a Grail-focused run, and I feel that Vesper probably I don't know. I should actually be careful. I feel that Vesper closely aligns with either the Grail or Moth, but I think probably Grail would win out in that competition. But anyways, I believe Vesper still has plans to play Book of Hours at some point. But as somebody who I've actually enjoyed playing a number of different games, I keep forgetting the names of the games you've been playing recently, but they kind of seem to be in the JRPG style flavor. I could be wrong on that just because I'm not following the substance. But he's also somebody who I've been able to sort of appreciate the Persona series for the first time through, as well as a number of other different games, and has actually delighted a few of the regular viewers on this channel through some of his sort of lectures that he does. So he did an interesting one on the Satanic Panic of sort of the, I guess, is it 70s or 80s or 80s or 90s? Anyways, whatever time period it was, he did one on the Satanic Panic about Dungeons and Dragons, and overall just a good fellow. Okay, so I don't want to do Exile just because of the health bonuses to the enemy units. So the question is, do I want to skip or do I want to reassemble? I think reassembling the body is the right call here. Oh, especially if it's a cursed spirit. Now, I have some choices to make here. I am very much inclined to sacrificing the ghoul here so that I don't restore health to this particular unit. It does invite the question in terms of how I do damage, but I don't feel I'm at that point of needing to worry about that yet. So I think for this case, I'm going to settle for Blazing Soul onto the tentacle. Wait, on death? On death what? Oh, that's right. Let's make this a badass wall. Nope, maybe not. Adjacent unit. Okay, so I think... different badass wall. Mad Dad, how you doing? This is particularly welcome. So if I want, I can get another ghoul, enraged ghoul out of this. So this is going to stun my Crimson Tentacle. Unless it attacks the wall first. Now this is an unfortunate side effect of the fact I couldn't sort of do everything each turn, on this turn, but I still think this was the right call. Okay, so this ghoul is going to switch with the Demonologist. I think we might as well do the stasis on the shrine. And I'm gonna wait the one turn so that I can bring the ghoul in. Where do you collect your achievement? Oh, for watching the watching all 11 hours of the what was it? The Edge. I believe it was an Edge run ultimately, like Dr. Stab, or was it? Oh, damn it! I'm trying to remember which. I know the one you're referring to. It was like the 11-hour video that you got through, but I'm trying to remember which run that was. Okay, destroy a tile and use the next chosen fate twice. I think I'm going to go for reassemble body. This cleric could be very helpful. Okay, cool. Oh, damn it. I forgot I take 3 damage on all. I guess it cancels out because of the stasis, but still. Okay, it's tempting to... you know what? I'm going to put down another Grim Obelisk against my better judgment. But that's just because there's so much damage that I can do on the enemies to make this work. Jesus, that is close. I really do not want to be switching attack with this unit. Summon a 3/3 copy of an ally on an adjacent hex or loyal village, which will add 5 health to allies summoned on this title. Let's transfer the soul. Okay, so I definitely need to kill this thing. I think I'll make a badass cleric. I think I'm also going to sacrifice the walls so my units can sort of get in and do their thing. This is particularly important so that they don't hit the broken seals. Oh, Jesus. So it's nice we did some chip damage, but the fact of the matter is this thing's going to kill the ghoul and be beside the shrine. Oh, well, it's still beside the shrine, so it's going to be bad, but... not much we can do here. I will still boost the Oh, damn it! I really screwed that one up. Okay, I gotta get thoughtful now. So I was originally going to... You know, I'm still gonna do it. So we don't... There's basically nothing in this world now except these two enemies, so anything that's not immediately going to be affecting them is sort of fodder to add to the various attacks. This seal really... I think that was one I put down, actually. That's a real shame. You know, weirdly enough, that might have actually saved me a little bit in terms of this unit, and this unit should fall off the map now. No, they're going to go on a broken seal. Damn it! So that was the worst possible outcome. Okay. This sucks. I'm just gonna have to wait it out. Oh, I definitely can. I was hoping to walk away with a bit more health. I guess it's not the end of the world because I did at least avoid some of the direct attacks from the demonologist, but still. Okay, so, I think I can sacrifice... you know what? We don't need to make this complicated. We'll just put a ghoul down. This little 3 damage for my shrine. Oh, that's right. They've got armor. The obelisks are nice just because they do this, like these single small bits of damage, and I have units that can alter the health, or the attack rather. Okay, so no speed bonus, but well, little speed bonus. But. Unholy Touch, swap the attacks of 2 units. Well, that'll be interesting, actually. But that costs 3. We can get some Ether or Spark of Nature. I think I'm going to try Unholy Touch. I can see some ways in which this would hurt me, but... Alright, Fighting Spirit. Enemies gain +3/+2 on attack. And Clear Sky, no natural disasters will happen on this continent. So I'm a little more inclined to go to the Sanctuary here. Do Master's Presence. I'll pay up once, and then we'll pay up on the next ones. Okay. Master's Presence is kind of tempting to keep going for, but I'm actually going to do Unwavering Faith. So we won't pick the perk again, but that's because I can go to this next Sanctuary. Unwavering Faith again for the health bonus. We will pick the perk. +3 attack to the shrine whenever an enemy enters an adjacent hex. No, we'll just do Unwavering Faith. Okay, I am sorry to do this now that we have a few people a little more active inside of chat, but I kind of need a little bit of a break. We're almost at the halfway point anyway. So I'm going to take a quick break just to sort of refill some tea and otherwise, get myself sorted out. I started off with a fair amount of energy at the start, but I am starting to feel... I've just had I know we had like the long weekend, but I am actually sort of feeling a bit worn out just because there's been quite a bit... there's been quite a bit going on just work and life-wise. And I where you can, right? You want to just take that and not let that kind of come into the stream, but I do occasionally need just a minute to sort of recharge. So it's also, the weather's been getting nicer, which is nice, but it's also, when it gets hotter, I also just feel very sleepy. I don't know if I have air conditioning in here, so I'm going to take a minute and try to recharge the batteries so I can have a good stream for the rest of it. All right, I'm going to shut up and just do my break thing. I will see you all in a bit. Lord Gloom, thank you very much for subbing, and I do apologize for being off refilling my tea while you were doing so. I know that was probably longer than my breaks should be, but I had a full kettle to tend to. So anyways, and also Vesper, thank you for keeping the chat active with your dance party. Also, I just noticed your chemical breakdown of chalk, so thank you for that.
For lack of a better word, is good.
Hope all is well and that you can get the solace and relaxation you require. The next coffee, or tea, most likely laughing face, is on me.
Thank you very much, Mad Dad. I know you have been very generous to the stream in past, so that was certainly not required, but very much appreciated. Stealing Lord Gloom's thunder. But I am going to take a minute here, and again, I really do appreciate that, Mad Dad, just because I know you've donated in the past, you've been very generous with your comments as well. And so the fact that you're also here giving financial support is kind of doing the, I don't know, that's like the full house version of stream support. I'm not quite sure the best way to put it. I am going to take a quick minute here, though, and shout out Lord Gloom. So I found Lord Gloom through another Brace Yourself published game called Cobalt Core, which is what I do intend to return to. However, I did get a little bit of news in terms of sort of some of the future things I'll be covering. So I am going to find it quite difficult to get everything I want done in, on my usual sort of three stream period. So again, the fact that I am not playing one game or another is less of an indicator on how I feel about that game and is much more of an indicator of the, just the realities I'm up against in terms of the time available. But I've actually had a lot of fun watching Lord Gloom through a number of different sessions. Some of them are art, some of them will be physical Magic the Gathering, which, as you know, this is not necessarily the sort of thing that I normally look for. But also, first streamer I watched play Escape from Tarkov, and of course, the games that are a little bit more aligned with the things that I usually play, which would be Phantom Brigade, which has been an absolute delight to watch Lord Gloom go through. And also, the Cobalt Cores and basically the Brace Yourself stuff is the little bit closer connection. But another person who I can make a good recommendation for if you happen to like my stuff or things adjacent to my stuff. Okay, more skilled bombers and archaeologists, a couple of enraged ogres, and a mechanical golem. I don't think I have too much to fear from the mechanical golems on this one, but we'll see. Okay, we won't recreate the continent. Ideally, I'm going to avoid any nasty encounters with the broken seals. So there's a little bit of an art to this placement. So ideally, I want the maximum number of hexes surrounding me. I do want to put some distance between myself and the skilled bomber. I think this is as good as I'm gonna get. I realize it's a temporary bonus, but honestly, this is quite a bit that I get out of I'm gonna put the tentacle down here. Okay, Wise Ruler. Any unit attacks all adjacent units. Okay. Now, I might get lucky, and this skilled bomber might fall off the edge of the map. This unit, on the other hand, gets way too close to the shrine early. So the question is, do I do anything to stop it? We'll put down the ghoul. And then the rest are going to be the obelisks. I want the possibility of people falling off the edge of the map, so... Oh, that's good. I hope you enjoy Lord Gloom. Dad, I do think sorry, I keep slurring the name. Mad Ad. I definitely think Lord Gloom. Like, obviously, I don't want to pigeonhole Lord Gloom as just a Tarkov streamer or just a any streamer, but he's definitely somebody who I've gotten quite a bit out of. I think I always tend to like streamers who give me something new out of the games that I'm watching them play. Right? There are some people who just know how to add a little bit of extra, a little bit of extra value to something that's going on. And I don't know. I like it. So I wouldn't shout him out if I didn't. All right, let's see how this turn goes. So I'm hoping this guy just falls off the edge of the map. Yay! Well, I feel in that case, Vesper, the only challenge there is that I haven't seen the side eye because of your avatar. Sorry for those of you who wanted the deal of a lifetime. I just can't handle that kind of competition. Alright, Soothe before death, add 8 health randomly split among all allies, or add 2 attack to an ally, and they attack immediately if possible. I think I'm going to do Soothe before death. This is a real pain. So they're going to step on the broken seal. I don't think there's anything I can do to avoid that, actually. That's the best I got. Oh, damn it. Oh, good. Okay, I don't have to distribute to an enemy. Unfortunately, I'm going to get hit with that 7 attack now. Good news, though, is that I'm going to be able to summon a ghoul next turn. Oh, hang on. First, there's going to be a bunch of damage this guy takes. So, could have been better, but... God, these guys are so close. I'm gonna do the earthy energy. Just try and buy myself some kind of... definitely consume soul. We'll put you down here. I think I'm gonna wait this out and bring in another ghoul. So, the trick here is that by bringing down the ghoul here, that means that I can eat the 11 attack that this one gives. We're also going to eat the 8 attack with this one. The rock wall will still perish, but essentially I'm taking the worst of the damage that this thing does. I'm absorbing that into the ghoul this turn. Obviously, if I could, I'd love to put down some more obelisks, but I'm trying to pick my battles where I can. So this is definitely one of these cases, right, where you see with my 3 defense, at least in some circumstances, the enemy doesn't do that much damage to me. There'll be some stuns that people have to experience. I don't think that's going to matter too much. Okay, so they are stunned this turn, so the tentacle's not going to be able to do its thing, which makes me a little sad. Oh, I messed this up, actually. Because this unit's now going to bestow the 10 damage onto the Enraged Ogre. Can't undo it. Oh, I do get to attack. Cool. That did work out. Obviously not intentionally, but hey, I'll take it. Okay, Sand Chaos turn all quicksands into sandstorms, double speed reward. Let's double the speed rewards. And we'll soothe before death in hopes that we get some health for the tower. Okay. We'll get whatever chip damage we can in on this one. I'm not expecting miracles here, to be honest. I guess the bit of good news is this ghoul will take away something from the skilled bomber. The golem is going to create quite a bit of chaos with their multiple attacks here. I'm just going to have to batten down the hatches for this one, I think. I'd love to try and get it done in like 2 turns, I just don't think that's a realistic goal here. Alright, so the ghoul stepping on this is going to create a problem. I think I'll drop a ghoul here just to absorb whatever damage I can off of the enemy. I mean, it's less damage than I would take from this unit, so that's a bonus, I suppose. Now, I should probably take out this ghoul here. Well, it's not that big of a switch in the damage, to be honest. Now it is. I think I'm gonna live with it, though. I'll hoard... I'll hoard the mana. So the reason I feel comfortable doing this is just because the like we do this ticking damage. This thing was gonna, well, it wasn't gonna die no matter what, but like in the end, this ghoul's gonna be able to attack next turn, so we eat the 14 in that case, and then I can just sacrifice it to something else. So, I think I'm going to put down a Protector of Nature here. This is going to seem a bit weird, but it's just to protect the tile from getting hit. So again, this unit's going to do a bit of damage all over the place, but in the end, the ghoul's going to absorb the worst of it. Warrior Furby? So again, the Chain Lightning, they get boosted, but we know we kill them after the retaliation. So all in all, a good day's work. I also think we get a bunch of health because of the speed. Okay, so I think these two get thrown away because we've used up all of our tiles, but if I pick up the Spark of Death, we can use those in a forge. Yeah. Let's see where it goes. I haven't taken advantage of any of the sort of the, level ups. I mean, in terms of the sparks. Looks like I'm not going to either. So this is a tough call because the Sanctuary is tempting. I'm going to go to the Forge. I'm not going to buy anything, but I will see what happens when we combine two. Death. On death, resurrect this unit with 1/1 stats. I can definitely work with that. And I think I'm actually going to put that on the obelisk just so that they are really hard to get rid of. Okay, so we can get the... I don't see any advantage to that, and I don't see any... Well, we haven't really used the corrupted trees recently. I have to pick one of these? Okay, we'll take the Dimension Rift then. I can live with 2 tentacles. It's a very descriptive analogy there, Vesper. This, incidentally, is the kind of content that you get on the Vesper channel. Alright, the Council of Pharos aims to make this land their very own paradise, and in doing so will deny people here their freedoms. Elementals deal direct damage to enemies and buff each other. Meteor shower destroys most of the tiles on the continent, and heavy armor enemies can receive only up to 9 damage from a single attack. So this means that I want to focus a lot on the obelisks where I can. This is a bit of a challenging scenario, but it's also quite fun in its own way. This is not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Okay, so Killmire deals 4 damage to all enemies adjacent to all bosses. Passive, this unit can receive only up to 9. This unit on move adds +3/+3 to all adjacent allies, and other bosses' abilities work twice while they are adjacent to this unit. So basically you don't want them beside each other. Easier said than done. Oh, I was mistaken in terms of how that ability works, but anyways, that's fine. Oh, I thought I got more than 1 tentacle. Okay. Right, so... Step 1, ghoul. Step 2, as many obelisks as we can. I kind of need the obelisks to do their thing, so I'm going to end the turn and I'm just going to bring another ghoul into play. It's hard to say this helps, but it does have its own indirect benefit. So this unit probably just dies, which is not terrible given that I can... So this is a problem, right? These two have united and they're almost certainly not going to move. We will decline... Oh, hang on. Oh, you know what the worst thing is? This unit's gonna die because it does 4 damage to all enemies adjacent to bosses. Yeah, so I'm gonna be taking 12 damage a turn as long as this guy's on the board. Okay, so I need to think a little bit about how I want... So I definitely need to get rid of the damage that this thing does. Actually, I gotta start with this so I can eat up this unit's damage. I think I'm just gonna have to accept that this is gonna suck for a little while. Oh, right. No, but it's not moving. Okay, yes. So we're going to get blown up for a couple of turns here. But I have a way out. So what we do here is I go Blazing Soul, and I put that onto... And we decline to distribute the damage. So these guys are not going to be able to do any damage to me, but I'm going to be able to make them miserable. So the trick here is I'm actually just going to deep freeze my shrine for the remaining turns. And this way, basically, we just get... we keep getting health each turn. So it doesn't really help me in terms of the end the turn quickly. But I think in the long run, we should still be able to have it finished in less than 11 turns. But we should also definitely be able to walk away with some more health. I mean, it was 20% chance one of those was gonna... Oh, great, we're done this turn, so... So again, not exactly like a textbook in terms... I didn't even see what scroll we had. Well, not exactly a textbook in terms of how we've normally approached these kinds of battles, but I'm... you know, I'm surprised at how versatile this approach is. I was kind of expecting that I would struggle on those three enemies, to be honest. Oh, open the chest first. So, this is basically the same as throwing it away. Let's go for the fire energy. So we're doing very well for health. We'll see what the third and I believe final act gives us. So this I can move to God of Knowledge. Whenever you create a tile, gain 5. Ooh, I actually don't want that. God of Rot would be better, but let's see what the consequences are. So I really should have seen what the consequence would have been, because I don't think this is a good one for me. I mean, it's not bad. Like, I don't want to actively resist it, but it does mean I forgo a better upgrade, which would be God of Rot. So, Ancient Legacy. Not everyone in the sands despises the divine. You restore the ancient order of Teldaram, who have been loyal to the High Goddess, your mother, for centuries. Though it took time and energy, the Order will now rule on your behalf. Their undying gratitude and vast knowledge are all yours to command. So you can acquire random talent whenever you craft or upgrade an item, but it destroys the last skill slot, including any gems and skills assigned to it. Now, that's not a major hardship. We have not actually used Unholy Touch yet, but let's see what the alternatives are. We've got Extinction. The Sun Domain's inhabitants fled these lands as your forces overtook it, and have remained hidden in hopes of returning home one day, but they will not. Despite the disapproval of your powerful allies, you spread a plague over these lands and bring death to anyone who dares settle here again. Applies poison to enemies each turn, cannot see the merchant's goods nor the talents in the chamber. You know what? I'm going to deal with Extinction. The poison that we've gained in the past has actually been very strong. So... Act 3, The Land of 1,000 Banners. I am slightly more inclined to go to the chamber this time, so let's go to the crossroads. We'll do the Dimension Rift This is a tough call in terms of whether or not I want to buy again. Eek, not worth it, so I'm not doing that again. So let's see what kind of upgrades we can get. So nature for sure. And it's a mystery, so... Oh, does it just not... Oh, here we go. Okay, so Giant's Might adds +1/+4 to the ally with the lowest health every 4 turns. Inexplicable Fear. When you don't spend mana on your turn, a random enemy will lose 1 attack. Oh, oh my god! Oh, this is so good. Rotten Souls. Enemies with 4 or less attack are corrupted. Tiles abilities trigger twice when corrupted units are standing on them. Okay, that's not so important, but... Moreover, purchasing energy of this element is cheaper after acquiring the ultimate talent. Yeah, but why would I want any more? So, Army of the Dead summons a Greater Curse Spirit every 5 turns. Oh, and then for 20 points each turn, it triggers 1 turn earlier. Interesting. But I can't afford... Yeah, okay. This is a silly set of capabilities that I have. We'll see whether or not it survives Ravenhold. The ruling clans of these lands are numerous, yet they are known to cooperate. Together they build vast cities and powerful armies that hold strong to this day. Enemies apply 5 poison on an attack. This is going to be very dangerous for my shrine. Okay, this is going to be a challenge, but... I'll put the tentacle down here. Okay, so... Definitely want to go Obelisk Happy. But I kind of feel like I need at least 1 ghoul. How you doing, Nearly Logical? So I think the original plan for this game was essentially that you were a god exterminating all living things. But, oh, that was unexpected. Godless just crashed. Let me just make a quick note here. Work travel. I hope that was good. This is the first time I've had a crash. Fair point. Okay, yeah, we still get the battle, so not too tragic. You know, this works very well for me. So I'm still going to put a ghoul down. So what? Right. Okay. I am going to end the... No, I'm not. I'm going to Blazing Soul this ghoul into the tentacle. I'm not going to give it the health. But in subsequent turns, I should be knocking these units' health down. So, like, the whole trick behind this is that I should not actually expect these units to be able to do any damage to my own people. I think the tentacle might actually get wiped out. But... Okay, so do I sacrifice the... I think I gotta put the ghoul down. These mountains are moving on their own. So I am not at all worried about the enemy having these villages, because each time a village gives them +1, I do 6 damage. Unfortunately, this unit's going to be able to move in on the shrine, which I wasn't anticipating. So I'm going to be getting that 5 poison for quite a while now. My best bet here is to actually sacrifice the ghoul. I should have put more obelisks down, frankly. So one of the challenges here is this poison is going to just rip my shrine apart. Oh. I got very lucky on that. So unfortunately that's 10 poison on me now. Oh, maybe not. Ally of your choice devours all adjacent allies and gains their stats. Don't feel too good about that, but maybe we teleport the shrine. 7 health. I'll use the fire energy. I'll relocate the shrine here. Summons a greater curse spirit every 5 turns. Okay, definitely consuming souls here. All the souls! And I'm going to avoid spending the mana just so that I can decrease their health, or decrease their attack. I'm not even going to bother with ghouls at this point because we're able to blunt them pretty well. Oh man. I don't think this saves in the middle of a battle. I wonder if this is the same problem I'm running into on Old World. That's a shame. I was really... Well, it couldn't be because... You know what? Let me... I'm going to put up my resource monitor. Couldn't be the same Old World one. Because that would have affected the earlier turns. Yeah, man, it doesn't save in the middle of a fight. Okay, that's a shame. That was actually really going in our favor there. This is a bit of a dilemma because I don't want to get too close to these guys, but... Oh, this is a thing of beauty. Okay, I'm definitely going to put the shrine down here. Okay, add 5 health to an ally and all their adjacent allies. So this is going to be a little unorthodox, but I'm actually going to do a pure obelisk strategy this time. And I am just going to sit and wait. That's mostly because of all this quicksand. Maybe what I'll do is when I get 3 mana, I'll put down 3 more obelisks. But turn by turn, I basically just want these things to get reduced. I don't think it'll be enough to, like, take it out, but it gives me a head start. And I also have the poison working in my favor. This is preposterously cheap, but you know what? I'll take it. Okay, so this is the 3 out of 3 turn. So there won't be the we won't get the reduction, but we've just doubled the number of attacks that they're going to be hit by when the time comes. So the real thing I'm hoping for here is to be able to I'm hoping to be able to kill them before they reach the shrine, so that they don't inflict the poison. I don't think the mountains change that much. Okay. Cool. So in addition to reducing the attack from the poison, we also give them the release. Why did obelisks get nerfed? Developers show this stream. I have gotten away with something far more, like, just pure nonsense in this game before. There's definitely, I mean, this is part of the fun of games like this, I feel. Being able to sort of find these fun combinations to... oh, that's right, when you get to 0, I guess it doesn't really matter anymore. Well, that's fine, because there's still 10. Oh, nope, yep, he's still... Execute. Deal 9 damage to any unit. If they die, you immediately get +1 mana. Now, I like that because we're already at our max, so we get to put down 4 obelisks in this case. They're a bit close to the... Oh, you know what? I just swapped places with this obelisk. Alright, so we're not going to spook the enemies, but what we are going to do here is... So next turn, when they're... Actually, I think they might get poisoned. No, I think they get poisoned later. But basically, next turn... Actually, this one's going to drown. Or one of these is going to drown. Actually, both of them might drown. Okay. Unfortunately, not much we can do to protect the Crimson Tentacle. Oh, they do get... Well, the poison doesn't matter. The reduction in attack matters. Alright, that's unfortunate. Still, not a bad day's work. Okay, that one's gonna be a liability. I could perfect balance the shrine and make it like a one hit, one kill. But I'm gonna astral projection. So I'm curious if this will direct all of these units away. This is my chance to learn. Okay, I don't think that's going to do much for us, but... obelisks for all. the fact that oh right, it's only one unit that gets affected by that. That's going to complicate things. Okay, they are going after the illusion. That's really good. And of course, these things come back on death, so a nice little FU to the... Sure, let's go for the extra ether. So I guess I need to put down the obelisks in this case. So we won't get the reduction that comes from spooking the enemy. Ah! Okay, I'm going to try one last trick here. I thought it might have been the villages, actually. But I am a little curious about something. So, based on what happened with Old World, it's possible that this is actually a problem with my computer. Oh, hell. I'm trying to remember how to do this. Okay, sorry about this. We're going to do the same strategy. But we don't have the same guarantees that it'll work as well as last time. If I was smarter, I actually would have moved this further back, but I think we can still make this work. Well, I think what might happen, this is always difficult. So processors are not as bad as people perceive them to be, but sometimes there can be faulty processors, but essentially what seemed to be happening with Old World is it is set to take advantage of as many cores as possible when it's processing the turn. And what I've noticed is when I try to run Cinebench, it actually crashes out. So even though I'll run the Intel like tuning programs and that, it's not necessarily the case that my my PC, it may not be the processor that's the problem. It could be that there is a faulty RAM or something. But it really does seem to be the case that when now I'm gonna resist the urge. Just gonna end the turn. But yeah, anyway, so I want to, ideally what I would do is I would test the RAM, I would test the motherboard, and the RAM I can at least kind of put in one at a time and do that test. Now I've got 4 sticks of it in there, so that's not exactly going to be a good time. But I don't have a backup motherboard, so am I going to buy one for a replacement or for a test? Am I going to go to a shop and get them to do it? If I do that, then I have to lug the PC all the way over there. It is actually quite difficult to diagnose that problem. So I don't know. We'll give this a try. We'll see if it's the same fix as is the case for Old World. And if I'm noticing this pattern happening, maybe that's a time for me to dig. Because if it's just Old World, I have a fix for Old World. But if it's affecting multiple games, incidentally, both are Unity games. If I notice that when Unity games make my computer sort of sweat a little bit, I want to take note of that. Man, that could not have worked better for me. Jesus, that is uncomfortably close. I regret not having an obelisk on the other side of the map, but let's make do. I can't put a loyal village down here, so I think I'll just morale boost the shrine. What does burn on a funeral pyre do, though? No, I don't get more than one. Okay, fair enough. So we'll rectify the problem from last time. This is going to get a little dicey just because of the amount of health that they have, but we'll do our best. Oh, that's great that he's attacking that one. So we're just going to let nature take its course. So again, the logic here is that if I, like, so I could just waste the mana, but the fact that I can get 6 more damage each time something, oops, sorry, I just knocked my headphones out. The fact that I get 6 more damage each time I max out my mana, and then I can just sort of sit for 3 turns and have a random unit decrease its health. Like, that is really hard to pass up. Again, I'm a bit worried about this ogre just because I'm not going to be able to hold it at bay forever. But we're at least going to be able to do some pretty meaningful damage to it. And I mean, I always have the option of putting a ghoul in to switch out the damage, although I don't think that's the right call in this case here. The thing that I'm more worried about is the poison. Although I do apologize, because I realize that, you know, I know it's an auto-battler, but this in particular is very, you know, just watch the gameplay itself. I do have the option of speeding up the battle speed, but the problem is that I tend to find I'm not that observant, and so usually something will happen in the game where I'm a bit, like, I wind up confused, and so I'd rather watch how this is playing out to see where it all goes. Obviously, we want to get this poison up, but this is Greater Curse Spirit. They're basically going to ignore it, but okay, definitely execute. So this will cause it to drop. Oh, also the poison. So that should be 2 sets for each of them. Yep. I don't even know if that's enough, but the poison should finish the job. Or actually the spirit, for that matter. Well, never mind. Their own villages are gonna... So it's kind of funny how you see the different strategies too, right? Because the way that I normally react to the villages is to do everything I can to keep the villages. It is super tempting to do Vicious Hunger, but no, I'm going to do a Gale. Yeah, 1 Gale here, 1 Gale here. Two Cursed Spirits. Okay, so again, I'd prefer to spook the enemy, but in this case, we don't have much in terms of options, so... At least one of these will act as a replacement for this one. Oh, you know what? Filling in... I got too clever by half. So the original intention was to have the Gale push the Ogre away when this one fell, but I'm blocking it with the Cursed Spirits. Anyways, the good news here is that even if they do wind up poisoning the shrine, there's not that many turns that the shrine's gonna be poisoned, so the obelisks did their job of sort of protecting the shrine for as long as they could, and then also doing that damage to any anybody who got a buff to their health. in certain ways, it actually would have been better to let them try and take more villages, but I don't know. That's the sort of thing that can backfire pretty quickly, I think. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 22 damage each time something happens to a unit. Yeah, so man, if there was just one more way of that ogre getting damaged. No! Or like, so having his health go down. That would be heaven. So I'm gonna take a chance here that the ogre's the one that gets spooked. Beautiful. So that unit is definitely dead. And on top of that, there's multiple rounds where this unit gets taken out. So we may actually we may win this before we take any actions, simply because each of these villages will boost the only... Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 88 damage that's going to fall on the unit. Cheesy as hell, but I'll take it. I will also confess I'm very intrigued by the fact that cutting the number of processors that I'm using in half fixed that, so I should probably figure out if it is a processor problem or not, because I think my processor's still under warranty. Easy cheesy, bountiful cover gamer. This is why I like having you in chat, Vesper. It's actually been really good to see you, because I know for a few of you, it feels like quite a few streamers hang out here. I feel like I don't get a chance to see as many of you as often as I would like. So it's nice to be able to catch up in terms of chat. Certainly a lot of the things that I like about your broadcasts tend to come up in your chat comments. Cool. I didn't even pay attention to the scrolls. Alright. Overgrown Ruins doesn't help. Spark of Nature I don't really see a use for, so we'll just go for the extra ether. So I think one more continent and then we're on to the boss fight. Yes, the Frozen Plateau. In ancient times, children would be sent to the plateau to test their resilience to the cold. Those who failed would be cast out from their clan. So you've ascended to Supreme God of Rot. All enemies lose 2 attack and get poisoned for 4 every 3 turns. So, works for me. I think I'm going to go for the Sanctuary in this case. So stick with Unwavering Faith. So I'll say no there, but that's just because I can cross into the Sanctuary again. Yeah, so we're going to just keep going on Unwavering Faith so I can have a preposterous amount of health. So continent is shattered in half, and enemies deal 6 damage back when attacked. Well, why would we attack them when we have obelisks? Okay, so if I go here, it gets a bit dicey. You know what? I don't need that much health. This is a happy medium. Okay, so I'm going to learn my lesson from last time. I'm going to want to make sure I put obelisks in each of the corners. Okay, so they're both cursed. Oh no, sorry, only one of them's cursed. So we're gonna let nature take its course. I think this is one time I'm gonna speed things up. It's just because these enemies have quite a bit of health, so... Please, take more. So it is tempting to go for a ghoul here, but I'm going to stick to the plan. Kind of a shame that this isn't the unit where... Well, you know what? It works, but... Yeah, so this thing's definitely dead. Oh, that's no good. We're so close to being able to take this thing out. Oh yeah. Oh damn it. Okay. Random harmful tile. Now we gotta double the speed. I can take the 2 cursed spirits. Shouldn't that reduce his attack? So again, we don't have the spook the enemy ability here, but we have so many more obelisks, and there's a lot of these villages giving the bonus, so it's possible we may actually be able to take out even a high-powered enemy much earlier than we thought. So for those of you that are fond of tower defense, I highly recommend the obelisk poison strategy. I do rather like the idea of one of these enemies attacking the tower and they're like, oh, not this again. Okay, Greater Curse Spirit, we'll put that down here. So we'll do our usual thing. I suspect we should win this round, just because there's so many villages boosting. Oh, hang on, we still have one more batch of bad guys. That's a fish. Man, they really like coming in close to the shrine. This is so dumb. 259 damage if you try to get close to me. We have one more turn before we're at full mana. So at this point they will break through my obelisk defense. But the expectation is that there'll just be so much damage done to them already that we should be able to wrap it up the next turn. Sorry, I don't know if this is tedious for people to watch or not, but I'm actually having a lot of fun watching this play out. I am curious how it's going to work against the boss, though. All right, there we go. Oh yeah, I didn't even check the scroll again. All right. No point in going for an arena. Death energy lowers the... Yeah, let's go for death energy. Ecumena, the mysterious mentor, counselor of all the clans, is known to dwell in these lands. Though he is no ruler, his words must always be heeded. Torblan summons mighty heroes and surrounds itself with walls. Ah, yes. Now, this one I actually haven't had that much trouble with. Ooh, the poison weapon's going to be a problem, though. Not crazy about the forge. The chamber might be kind of nice, but you know what? Let's just go to the crossroads. Definitely not doing either of those. Start the next battle with a... Oh no, we're taking another copy of Inexplicable Fear. Okay, Unwavering Faith seems pretty tempting here. Okay, increases the number of frozen lakes. Enemies apply poison on attack, so I want to keep that in mind. So the big trick here is I'm going to want to make sure that I get the poison and I get the damage reduction on Torblan as quickly as possible. Everything else is secondary. Works for me. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is surround myself with as many tiles with effects as possible. I don't exactly want to go directly beside Torblan. That's a great way for me to get very sad. This might come back to bite me, but I don't think I'm ready for the tentacle to take damage. I suspect we can probably win, but I'm not going to risk that. Okay, so as usual, now, placing the obelisks all over the place is not quite as important as before, simply because we're not going to have those opportunities. Like, there's no waves. Now, the thing I'm kind of hoping for here, right now, I'm hoping we get lucky and that this is the one that gets spooked. Okay. Oh, that's right, we get 2 of those. So this is all just kind of chip damage right now. That's fine, because we're building something. The more turns I get... Okay. I am slightly tempted to break my... I'll put the obelisk down. So obviously we don't get the one turn where they get spooked. Oh, but that is the poison turn, so... Looks like we're about to breach one of the walls, which is good. Nice. Not so nice. Okay, so I just got poisoned. As tempting as it is to put the obelisk down, I think it's slightly better for me to put down another spirit in this case. So obviously there's going to be poison each turn that I need to worry about, but at this point here we should feel pretty comfortable that we'll see this through to the end. So again, slightly tempting to deal with this unit. I'll maybe put down a couple things to guard myself. really just want the damage reduction to do its trick. So the nice thing here is that if Torblan was capable of attacking, these would reduce its health, which means the obelisks trigger again. So barring a disaster with the shrine, which is possible, I think we base rush. It is kind of interesting that these units don't wind up applying multiple hits of poison on the shrine. I mean, it would be basically impossible to win if that's how that worked, but... maybe not impossible, but yeah. Obviously, stacking 5 poison per turn each turn you get attacked would be very tough. So that was a pretty convincing win on normal. 9 continents destroyed for 720, 135 units, tiles created for 945 points, 2 gems crafted for 120, 4 talents learned, 160, 1 scroll used. Again, I didn't even remember what I was looking at before. 5 speed rewards for 895, and 70 from the Ethereal Vault for a total of 3,956. So we're going shopping. So I think I wanted Divine Inspiration. Oh, hell yes. All right. Random Spark of Creation is tempting. So at this point, I kind of want to go for the expensive stuff. Oh, definitely Mana Reservoir. Extra ether at the start's kind of nice, but let's go for the Mystical Power. Random Spark of Creation and 10 energy of the same element. Yeah, so all the resources. So obviously that's a ton of money that I just spent, but mostly this is setting up for subsequent runs. So in the end, even if I have, only a little bit of progress on these smaller runs, I should still be seeing, I should still be able to see some progress in terms of things like the Ether Burst and that. And the fact of the matter is, I've only been sticking with one particular kind of shrine, so I might still stick with the standard immobile shrine one more time, given that we've not yet beaten everything on hard. Now, I'm not going to start this tonight because I'm almost exactly at the time that I would normally finish at, and I know I started a little late, which means that I'm going to go to sleep later. I still have not completed hard, so not ready for hard, or not ready for hard plus. Oh, it's extreme, so, and whatever beyond extreme is. But these were much more convincing wins, so I am rather looking forward to seeing what hard looks like. And then I figure once I've kind of got all of the bonuses from doing a couple of runs on hard, then I can start unlocking the shrines. Now, for each of these, I have done these before, so this shrine can get ridiculously powerful. It can move and attack. It says starts each battle with 6 attack. If you take the ability that matches health to attack, this thing is just unstoppable. It's silly how powerful this thing can get. There's a number of situations where this thing can just get completely out of control. This one is also very interesting. So the Corrupted Shrine, start the battle with 2 shrines, the health splits evenly between them. So this one can be very, very powerful if you have reliable ways of getting health. Because basically, if you have an ability that grants health on a shrine reliably, and you do that over 2 shrines, you're doubling the health, and then of course, it just kind of builds on itself. Of course, if you wind up in a situation where you are short on health, then you're in a lot of trouble, right? Then you have like 2 little dinky 5 health shrines, which are not long for this world. But the Corrupted Shrine definitely gets pretty interesting. But anyways, all of that will be dealt with in future. I know the original plan for this was to release the game in late May. I don't know if that is still the plan for this game, but definitely it is one that I'm really looking forward to. So for those of you that have not stopped by the Brace Yourself Discord yet, this is where the developer hangs out. I'm imagining that they've got to be getting close to a point where sort of they're invoking closure on any kinds of recommendations, but I think first of all, the Brace Yourself Discord's a lot of fun to hang out in, and number 2, I know a few of you really like sorry, I'm just trying to find the invite link. I know a lot of you like to interact with game developers, and the Brace Yourself Discord's great for that, particularly Godless, which has a very well, all of the developers are really active inside of this, but let's see. Oh, actually, it looks like there hasn't been as much since the last announce for the full release, but I encourage you all to hang out, and more importantly, if you've not picked this up and are thinking about it, I think definitely I highly recommend showing some support for this developer. I feel that this game is talked about much less than it should be. And like I want to be kind of clear on this, because some people have said very nice comments on like YouTube and things like that, where it's like, I can't believe you don't have more people following you. And like to a certain extent, it's like, well, I'm just happy for the people who are like, I don't want to sound ungrateful, and I don't want to. Sometimes it can sound like a backhanded compliment, but my feeling here is that what this game does and the unique package it puts itself into, I feel like this should be a game that people are talking a lot more about. I'm sorry, Locus 101. I do appreciate you stopping by, though. I will be back Friday with Cyberpunk, most likely, if that catches your fancy. But I do apologize. I know it's a little disappointing to come in with an ending stream. I hope you're well, though. But yeah, again, I don't want it to sound like a backhanded comment or anything like that. I think Godless is a very solid game, but I also, like, there are some games that I've played and they feel very buzzy, and I feel that Godless should be much more buzzy than what my direct experience has been of it. Specifically in terms of, when I look for someone to host at the end of the night, I feel like this is one of these games where I should be able to, find someone to host. I'm going to do one of two things. So I'm going to take a second here and... Actually, you know what? I don't need to... Hey, Olaf, thank you very much. I hope you had a good time. I know it's a little silly to watch me play this thing on automatic. But you know what? Prosciutto Fist actually just started streaming. So unless there's another thunderstorm... I think, Locus, you will have finally found a good home for your viewership. I don't know if you've checked out Prosciutto Fist before or not, but she is a lot of fun to watch. There is how do I put it? An overly supportive viewer in the chat, which might cause for some unintended amusement. But... No. The Prosciutto Fist, I actually had a lot of fun watching Prosciutto Fist. I originally found her through Book of Hours, but she has really done the Lord's work on Baldur's Gate 3, did it once, and then has been streaming it with her friends Viridian and Megimu. And honestly, they do such a good job in terms of the rapport. Actually, Pro played a practical joke on Viridian, which just absolutely delighted me. I was in hysterics watching it. So, but yeah, I thought Pro like absolutely killed it with Baldur's Gate 3. It's been fun to watch her play Resident Evil 4, but For those of you that know the follow alert here, you'll probably see why I shouldn't have debated on who I was rating tonight. So anyways, thank you everybody for watching Godless, supporting Godless. Definitely check the game out if you haven't yet. And please do enjoy Prosciutto Fist's lovely stream. I'll see you all on Friday. Take care.
It was easier this time. We were like right about to finish it too. Ah! A system chalk. Hello Raiders, how are you? Thank you for the raid, system.